Court. Judgment and and Article 356, or it is also known as the S.R. Bommai judgment. See, S.R. Bommai was the Chief Minister of Karnataka in late 80s and early 90s. He was dismissed. See, S.R. Bommai was the Chief Minister of Karnataka in late 80s and early 90s. He was dismissed by the governor because some of the ruling party members went to the governor and said that we are withdrawing our support to the chief minister. It was a Janata Party, Janata Dal government at that time, and it ultimately the governor dismissed him without giving him a chance to prove his majority in the floor of the house. Similarly, there were other cases also. There was a Manipur government dismissed at that time by the governor. And also another big issue at that time, it is in 1994, this judgment, this S.R. Bommai judgment came once again it was in 1994, okay, 1994, March 1994, this judgment came, okay, Supreme Court judgment of 1994. So, just before this, there is another incident, that was the Babri Masjid demolition was there at that time, 1990s, 92. Babri Masjid was demolished. P.V. Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister at that time. And when the Babri Masjid was demolished, within a few days of the demolition, in fact, on the day Babri Masjid was demolished, the UP government at that time, it was a BJP government at that time, Kalyan Singh was the Chief Minister at that time. Kalyan Singh, when you see, even though Kalyan Singh has given lot of assurances in the Supreme Court also, and he has given an assurance in the National Integration Council, and he gave, at the time, even the not only so many at many forums in the center, many meetings were held, and there was a according to Article 363, sorry, Article 363, the Interstate Council, in the Interstate Council meeting also, not 363, 263, according to Article 263, Interstate Council was created at that time. Even in the Interstate Council also, Kalyan Singh, the Chief Minister of UP, came and assured that he will ensure the protection of the monument, Babri Masjid. And the Rath Yatra was going on by L.K. Advani. L.K. Advani started from Somnath temple in Gujarat, and he was traveling, crisscrossing the country. A lot of communal violence going on across the country. Finally, he was stopped and arrested in Bihar by Lalu Prasad Yadav. That was the situation. And then on that fateful day in December, on December 6, Babri Masjid was demolished. Everything is history now. Now, when this was dismissed, and the BJP governments at that time, and on the day when the Babri Masjid demolition took place, naturally, Kalyan Singh violated all norms, all laws. He could not protect the monument. But that was a part of their design. They wanted the demolition, and they knew that it is a political hot cake now, and the sentiments of the people are aroused, and a lot of communal violence or communal polarization was going on. So, on the same day evening of the demolition of the Babri Masjid, Kalyan Singh went to the governor to resign, saying that I am resigning because I could not fulfill the commitments given, and I will go to the people, I will ask for the people's mandate once again, because now I have done a great job, and now let me ask the people's mandate. So, by the time he reached the governor's office, governor said, no need to resign, you are dismissed. because you failed to uphold the constitution. So the UP government led by Kalyan Singh was dismissed on the same day of the demolition of the Babri Masjid. But within a few days, the other BJP governments in power at that time, BJP was in power at that time in Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan, in Himachal Pradesh at that time. These governments were also dismissed by the Narasimha Rao government. Narasimha Rao government dismissed all the other 3 BJP governments in power at that time, saying that they also failed to uphold the secularism, uphold the constitution of the country, and they violated the secularism as a basic structure, and they did not say basic structure, they said they failed to protect the secularism, and they were also so they also went to the court. So SR Bommai was already dismissed. The BJP governments which are dismissed, they also went to the court. Manipur government was dismissed on some other reason, they also. So many cases were there in front of Supreme Court. Supreme Court clubbed all these cases together, all the Article 356 related cases together. And Supreme Court gave this verdict in 1994, which is known as the SR Bommai judgment. So this is what has completely, at least it altered for some time, the imposition of the Article 356. So according to this SR Bommai judgment, Supreme Court declared that the presidential proclamation dissolving the legislative assembly, or rather the presidential proclamation by using Article 356, proclamation by using Article 356 is subject to judicial review. See, please remember, we have always said that any action taken by the President of India while performing his constitutional duty, it is not questionable, he is not answerable in a court of law. Presidential action cannot be questioned in a court of law, that is what we know. But Supreme Court said that as far as the presidential proclamation by using Article 356 is concerned, is subject to judicial review. Supreme Court said that imposition of President's rule is subject to judicial review, even though there is judicial immunity on presidential action, but this is not immune. Now onwards, we will scrutinize why you imposed the President's rule. So presidential action or presidential proclamation by using Article 356 is subject to judicial review. And Supreme Court also said that Supreme Court will look into what material facts were present, or what material facts were there while, or were there before the President or before the Union government in deciding on this Article 356. What were the material facts available? On what ground you are dismissing? What is the reason? Supreme Court said that they will look into the facts given to the President for dismissing the state government. What material facts were there, or were relied for the dismissal? So Supreme Court will check whether there is a material facts available. And Supreme Court also said that Supreme Court will not look into the truth behind those facts, meaning the Supreme Court will not look into, see whether those facts were 100% true or not. Supreme Court will not look into. Supreme Court, because if you have to look into the fact, but it may come out later on. See, suppose they will say, suppose I'll give an example. The example is, the government says there is an intelligence report saying that the state government is colluding with our enemy, say with Pakistan. So we wanted to dismiss. So I am giving an example. Now, the Supreme Court will only look into whether there was an intelligence report like that. Supreme Court will not look into whether that intelligence report is true or not. See, maybe after many years we may prove that that intelligence report was wrong. But if the government, if the central government says, I am dismissing the state government because of an intelligence report, Supreme Court will only look into whether there was a report like that. If it is there, it is fine. If it is not there, then there was no material fact behind that. That's why Supreme Court will not verify the truth of the material fact. Okay. What material fact was there? Say I said suppose an intelligence report, Supreme Court will look in whether there is an intelligence report. Intelligence report may be wrong, may be right. That is a different thing. We will not look into that. Supreme Court said. Then the burden of proof, Supreme Court also said that the burden of proof is with the central government, not with the state government. The burden of proof is with the president and not with the dismissed state government. See, a state government is dismissed. He is the victim. The victim should not come with the proof saying that there was no material evidence. It is the duty of the central government to come up with the material evidence. They should come up with the proof saying that these are the reason. So, state government can only say this is not true, but state government need not bring any evidence and all. It is the duty of the central government to bring in evidence justifying the dismissal of the state government. Okay. So, the burden of proof is with the president and not with the dismissed state government. Number 5, Supreme Court also said that before Parliament approves, because you have to go for parliamentary approval within 2 months. Before Parliament approves, the President should not dissolve the state assembly. President only should suspend. The President should not dissolve, should not take any permanent action. The dissolution of the House is a permanent action. You suspend it, wait for the parliamentary approval. If the Parliament approves, then should not dissolve, only suspend, and the President should dissolve, if at all, it should be dissolution should come only after the parliamentary approval. Okay, if the Parliament failed to approve, then what will happen? Then and if you have already dissolved, if you are taking a permanent action, we cannot bring it back. So, do not take a permanent action, suspend them, dissolution you can wait for the dissolution later on. Okay, that is said. And the court said that if there is malified intention, now the next point Supreme Court said, if the court finds there is malified intention, if the court feels that there is malified intention behind the dismissal, okay, if the court feels that there is a malified intention behind the dismissal, the court may restore that government. See, suppose a state government is dismissed and later on, see, they will go to the court, it may take a couple of years. So, if the court feels that the center has done with a malified, with a wrong intention, without any material fact, the court may even restore the dismissed state government. Malified, then the court may restore the dismissed state government, and it may even revive the dissolved assembly, revive the dissolved assembly. The Supreme Court said that I will revive the old assembly, even if you have conducted an election and all, I will not bother. See, suppose the central government dismissed a state government and opposition ruled state government, then elections were held, and in the election maybe the ruling party in the center got a majority, they might have done that. But the dismissed state government has gone to the court. The court has given relief. The court said that you restore the old chief minister and restore the old assembly. So, Supreme Court said that if the court feels that there is a malified intention behind the center, they may even go to the extent of restoring or rather restoring the dismissed chief minister and revive the old assembly. So, do not play with fire, like that the Supreme Court said. Supreme Court gave a very harsh judgment, and Supreme Court also said, a seventh point I would like to add, Supreme Court also said that the floor of the house, the Supreme Court said that the forum to test the majority of a state government is the floor of the house. The forum to test the majority of a state government is the floor of the house and not the lawns of Raj Bhavan. See, in those days, the MLAs used to be the opposition or other who wants to dismiss or who wants to work against the state government, they used to parade MLAs in front of the Raj Bhavan, in front of the governor, and the governor will say, okay, this government lost majority or this government has majority, whatever it is. The governor used to take decision based on the MLAs being paraded in front of him at his residence, that is the Raj Bhavan. So, the Supreme Court said that the forum to test the majority of a state government should be the floor of the house and not the lawns of Raj Bhavan. Meaning, if there is a doubt regarding the majority of the chief minister of a government, the state government, that state government should be asked, the chief minister should be asked to prove his majority on the floor of the house and nowhere else. And number 8, a very important point at that time in 1994, Supreme Court said that secularism is a basic structure of the constitution. Secularism is a basic structure of the constitution, and the dismissal of the BJP governments at that time, all of them are valid. The dismissal of the BJP governments are valid because they failed to protect the secularism of the country. Supreme Court said in 1994, and the dismissal of BJP ruled or BJP state governments were valid, declared as valid because they failed to protect, they failed to uphold the secular characteristics of India. But today, if the same thing happens, I don't know. Of course, you will not be dismissing. The same Supreme Court, whether they will say secularism is the basic structure of the constitution, I doubt. The way things are going on these days, I need not tell. The way the Ram Janmabhoomi judgment came, the way the Sabarimala judgment came, the way Supreme Court is behaving on various instances, whether it is Jammu and Kashmir, whether it is the migrant laborers traveling back, walking back, the way the Supreme Court is taking up even our fundamental rights issues. It is very sad that the same Supreme Court talked big things before. Secularism as a basic structure of the constitution, Supreme Court said, and the dismissal of the BJP government is valid. So, this S.R. Bommai judgment made, and most importantly, already the provision is there, Article 356, the provision is both the houses should approve with a simple majority. So, so these are some of the provisions of the S.R. Bommai judgment or the 1994 judgment, which made the misuse of Article 356 difficult. So, the conclusion from all this discussion, number 1, this S.R. Bommai judgment made it has resulted in the misuse of Article 356 difficult. Misuse difficult. Number two, because of the stringent condition, because Supreme Court has said that they may even restore the old dismissed state government back. So, it can be a real problem. And the second thing is, why Article 356 is not that misused these days? The second reason is, the you need separate the parliament, the Rajya Sabha should approve separately, and the ruling party is majority in the Rajya Sabha is shaky. But these days things are moving to have a majority, or they are easily managing in most of the bills. But when it comes to Article 356, many of the state governments may not be that especially people like Biju Janata Dal or AIADMK or even YSR Congress and all, whether they will be that inclined to support the ruling party is a question mark. The chances of getting it through the Rajya Sabha is not that easy. So, because of that, the Rajya Sabha's approval is an issue. It can so happen that if the Rajya Sabha approval did not come, the dismissal has to be withdrawn. So, because of the shaky majority in the Rajya Sabha and because of the SR Bommai judgment, the misuse of Article 366 was to a large extent controlled. The misuse has been controlled. I will not say it has been stopped, it has been largely controlled. But the BJP, the Amit Shah model of managing things are totally different now. They are not using Article 356 or anything. See, there are many instances we can see. Even in the case of Karnataka, you can see in the case of Madhya Pradesh. What are they doing? They are forcing, or rather they are arranging the ruling party MLAs to resign first by inducing them with the money, inducing them with the ministerial post. You see, in Madhya Pradesh, after the Kamal Nath government was reduced to a minority, why? Because the Congress MLAs resigned, many of them resigned. And then most of those resigned MLAs are made ministers already. Even before they got re-elected into the parliament or re-elected into the state assembly, they are already made ministers. Now, these ministers will go and contest the election, and I am sure they will get the majority, because that is how the Indian public, we are not unfortunately the sentiments of the Indian people are very different. They are not aware, or rather even if we are aware, we are not bothered about this kind of jumping sheeps who are jumping from one party to another. Still we support them. Madhav Raj Scindia, it was here with the tall leader of the, so not Madhav Raj Scindia, his son. The way he is behaving now, Madhav Raj Scindia was the tallest, one of the tallest leaders of the Congress. And Jyotiraj Scindia now, he jumped from here and now he is a BJP MP. Just see, I mean, during the last election, 2019 election, he was a key pillar of the key supporter or the key group, the supporter of Rahul Gandhi. Now he is in BJP and he is a Rajya Sabha MP. And people of India have no problem. And the people who jump from one party to another are equally supported, unfortunately. So now the operation model is different. Get the MLAs resigned, and then help them to get elected separately, or rather in the next by-election. and then change the party, or rather change the ruling party automatically. So the operation, by the present BJP regime is totally different. They don't have to use the 356 to a large extent. They are forcing the government to go to minority first. And the way governors are being misused, Manish might have already talked about in the legislative assembly and the state legislature and the state executive. So rampant misuse of the powers of the governor. And the way the governors are in Maharashtra also we have seen how this Shiv Sena government has come to power, and in between overnight drama, early morning drama, late night drama. So things are totally in bad shape. There is no ethics. The only ethics is how to capture power. And we have seen in Karnataka, we have seen in Madhya Pradesh, we have seen in Rajasthan also. But somehow, in Rajasthan, their design did not work only because the opposition leader there, the BJP leader, the Vasundhara Raje Scindia, she did not cooperate. Had she cooperated, the same thing would have repeated in Rajasthan also. Very sad. See, 5 years, if you have to sit outside, what is the big harm? You wait for the next election and defeat and come back. Take the people's mandate, but that is, we have no patience these days. Very, very sad that the politicians, by hook or crook, somehow they want to capture power. So Article 356 misuse has been curtailed a bit because of two reasons. One, that is the S.R. Bommai judgment of 1994, and the second, the majority, the ruling party's majority in Rajya Sabha is shaky, it is not 100% clear. So even if there is a dismissal, say for example, if the Trinamool Congress government is dismissed because she is in fighting mode with the ruling party, they will not be able to get, they may find it difficult to get an approval in the Rajya Sabha that easily. They may not be able to get it because of the majority issue. But the ruling party found another way. The funniest thing they have done is, in Uttarakhand and all before, a couple of years before, what they did is they dismissed the opposition government, dismissed the Congress government, and then you install, they dismiss it, you install your own government first, then ask that government to prove majority. See, now whoever has in power, suppose a chief minister is dismissed and the other party, the BJP chief minister is appointed, or the central party, the central ruling party, the supporter is appointed. Now the moment you get power, you can easily get some of the independent MLAs and all, and then they prove majority in the house. So that this dismissal by the government, the Article 356 or dismissal by the governor has not even come to the parliament. Even before that, within that 2 months itself, before it was getting approved in the parliament, a new government is installed, and that new government has proved majority in the state legislative assembly. See, there are many ways of circumventing Article 353 these days. So it is in bottom line, what I can say is that there is a complete loss of moral values in politics. The only aim is to how to capture power. Even the case of Manipur government, see that 60 member the legislative assembly in Manipur right now. I think the opposition Congress got 28 seats. BJP had 21 seats, but BJP formed the government, not the Congress who had 28, because they were just 2 seats short of majority. So this is how how everything is. The governor overnight, within no time, invited the BJP to form the government, saying that they have majority. So once you are invited to form the government, it's very easy to get the smaller parties to join and the independents to join, and they proved the majority within no time. Goa, the same case. Out of the 40 member assembly, The Congress had, I think, 18 MLAs. BJP had 13. Still, who made the government? BJP formed the government, because the governor invited BJP to form the government. And then half of the congressmen resigned, or rather majority of them resigned from the Congress and joined BJP. And now I think in the Goa, BJP has almost 30 MLAs in BJP. Why? Because majority of the Congress MLAs were, they changed their party. 2/3 of them changed their party and joined BJP. All possible in the given circumstances. So, complete loss of moral values, no ethics. I think this ethics chapter or the paper should be taught to politicians also, but only by teaching nothing can happen. So, that is how Article 356 is positioned today. So, S.R. Bommai judgment has brought some balance. Rajya Sabha majority, lack of majority has put some pressure, but the ruling party, the present NDA government, the Narendra Modi government is finding various other ways to circumvent these provisions. Without using 356, you are changing the ruling party. They could easily bring down the Congress Janata Dal S government in Karnataka. He could easily bring down the Kamal Nath government in Madhya Pradesh. In Goa, they easily managed. In Manipur, they easily managed. Rajasthan, they almost managed. Even in Bihar, you see, the Janata Dal United and RJD were together. They fought the election, last election, and they got a massive majority. And one fine morning, Janata Dal United, Nitish Kumar jumped the ship and went to the BJP and formed a government there. So, if you look that way, if you are 21 governments ruling, BJP or NDA government ruling, many of them, they got majority through these, dubious means, which is again the spirit of democracy, it is again the spirit of ethics, moral values. It is very bad. Things are in bad shape. So, this is the position of Article 356. I have already talked about Article 352. So, these are the two very important emergency provisions which I wanted to take up today.